This episode of the Purple Rain podcast.
Yes. Welcome back to episode 350 of the Purple Rain podcast.
Yep.
Albert McClellan, Edgar Jones, Adisa Isaac, Justin Houston,
Yep.
Antoine Barnes, Tara Laka episode of the Purple Rain podcast. And like we said in the intro, we're on a 3-game win streak. Our third straight, well, we had a victory Friday, which is nice, but I'm going to say third straight victory Monday. All right. We are freaking back. The Ravens winning games, all is well. The real purple team in the NFL, I'll say it. You know, we beat the other purple team, so that's always nice. But you can see the chat's going crazy right now. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast. This guy right here on Instagram or on X at Sutton Def. Me, Instagram, simply as10.prod, X, simply as10. Like I always say, Twitter, the place to follow us, where I believe, I want to speak for something, but I feel like we're the most active on that social media platform. Always getting off our Ravens takes, just kind of, letting how we feel, whether it's, good or bad or indifferent, it's going to be on there. But the chat is going crazy right now. I have to ask you something. I feel like I know the answer. How are you doing? And how was your weekend?
Weekend was great. And I'm doing well. I was on live right after the game yesterday. Obviously, Ravens get a big win on the road, 27-19 over the Vikings. During that live stream, I was kind of processing my feelings in real time. Obviously, after a big win, you're like, all right, cool, Ravens 3-game win streak. But then I kind of started to peel the layers back just a little bit, and I'm kind of a little bit skeptical about this Ravens team moving forward, right? And I know there was a lot of good things that we could have taken away from that game. And I know that the Ravens are on a 3-win streak with the Browns and the Jets and some more weaker teams coming up on the schedule next. But I'm concerned about the offense. That's how I'm feeling in a nutshell. We're going to get into it. Before we do, though, make sure you guys go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel as well. We'd appreciate that if you do not want to miss an episode, because we do go live here pretty much every day, right? So if you don't want to miss anything, make sure you hit that notification bell down below as well. Want to give another big shout out to our members. We got a bunch of new members here at PRP. You guys saw them all roll at the top of the episode in the credits. Shout out to each and every one of our members here at PRP. It is truly appreciated. Big shout out to you guys. And again, this is episode 350. Episode 350, we're reviewing this Vikings game and asking the question, is this Ravens team currently contenders or pretenders? Because there's a difference, right? I feel like us as Ravens fans, we've kind of been on our high horse at certain points before and looked at other teams who are on a little bit of a hot streak and said, hey, look, I don't necessarily know if that team is going to be able to stick around, right? Kind of like with the Colts. The Colts are looking real shaky right now. I called that earlier in the year. I said that they might be pretenders, Alex, real quick.
Yeah.
But let's just start with this. And make sure you leave it down below in the comments. Let's kick it off. Do you think that this Ravens team are contenders or pretenders as of right now today?
Oh, I think it's a fine line, but it's on the edge right now, I'd say, of contenders. Like, very fine line. Right over it, but one loss away drops you the pretenders, I'd say.
Yeah.
I think, I told you this before, I think some people are underestimating yesterday's win. I think the Vikings are a good team. It's not easy to go into Minnesota and win. This team, the Vikings, just went into Detroit and absolutely shut down the Lions offense, who, by the way, ran all over us, threw all over us. I know that was week 3, but that's the same team. It was the same, guys out there. JJ McCarthy was 9. Justin Jefferson, top 2 receiver in the league, wherever you want to put him, 37 yards. Their defense, that's a damn good defense. Brian Flores, getting the head coach touts. 27 points. Could have been. Should have been more. I think if the issue is our offense, I know they'll fix themselves. I was more worried about the
Hmm.
defense. They showed me something. And by the way, special freaking teams.
Yeah.
That was lacking for years. Fumbles. Um, Tyler Loop. Granted, he had the missed long field goal, but outside of that, looking pretty good. Uh, I couldn't be mad. So it's a fine line, but I'm pushing more towards contenders because I'm seeing the changes. But my biggest worry is still this offensive line, and we'll get into that. But right now, man, I'm feeling good. 3-game winning streak, and you win this next week against the Browns. I don't want to get too much into it. You're 2-0 in the division, and you're at 500. With honestly, you're on the driving seat. Well, the Steelers are dropping off now. But I want to hear what you have to say. But I don't want to go too much into like next week and everything. But I'm feeling pretty good.
And that's good. I'm glad that you're feeling pretty good, Alex, because I'm feeling pretty good. But the reason why I'm not feeling pretty great is because of, like you mentioned, this offensive line. And that's why I feel like, and I'm going to have to disagree with you here. I feel like the Ravens are closer to being pretenders than they are contenders. Reason being, if you want to have sustainable success in this league, right? I don't think that it looks like how you won yesterday. That's not a sustainable method of victory, right? Forcing 3 turnovers, right? Well, 3 takeaways, right? I think 5 turnovers total if you count the turnovers on downs, because I think that the Vikings had 2 or 3 of those yesterday. That's not sustainable. We all sat up here and said, like, I think it was Josh Berman, friend of the show from the Next Network. Shout out to him. He said a couple of weeks ago, he was speaking on the Steelers. He said, the Steelers, the defense on paper looks great, right? But they're very turnover dependent, right? They're not necessarily like, because early in that game, the Vikings were getting what they wanted. I'm not going to lie to you. But my point is this: if this offensive line cannot sustain drives and put together well executed blocking schemes up front to kind of supplement this run game, I really don't see this Ravens team going far. It's obvious, it's clear and obvious right now that the Ravens have no plans on shuffling around the offensive line. I watched some of the film this morning, Alex. You got guys like Daniel Faalele who do not look good right now. And he hasn't looked good all season. I don't know if he's necessarily going to turn it around. Again, not all of his tape is bad, but there are some glaring issues that pop up on the film. Same thing with Andrew Voorhees as well, left guard. There was a play in this game where Ivan Pace Jr., inside linebacker for the Vikings, literally just put him on his butt, put him on his ass, right, with one hit. And I'm like, bro, you're supposed to be one of the strongest guys on the team. That's at least what is rumored. Andrew Voorhees is one of the strongest guys on the team, if not the strongest. And you're getting blown up by a linebacker, right? And that linebacker goes in and he muddies up the trenches and ends up bringing Derrick Henry down. Pat Ricard is not going to be enough. Pat Ricard is the only reason why this running game is kind of starting to get back to its form. But with the inconsistencies across the offensive line, I can't see in January us going up against a Buffalo Bills team. I can't see us going up against a disciplined, or at least what it seems like a very disciplined New England Patriots team who's surging right now, or a Chiefs team, right? Who are always going to be well coached. I don't see them turning the football over 2-3 times, right? And just giving us extra possessions. We won the game yesterday by 1 possession, but took it away 3 times. Golden rule for me, ideally, however many turnovers you force, that's how many possessions you should win by. That's the standard for me that I'm going to be holding this Ravens team to. And the offense, again, it just really, really concerns me. The fact that we can't get a running game going. Derrick Henry averaged 3.8 a carry. That's why I'm closer to pretenders as opposed to contenders, because in the playoffs, we're not going to play teams who just give us the ball repeatedly. I'm just saying.
I think Ricard didn't have a good game yesterday. I think he missed some blocks out there, was on his butt a couple of times. As for that, who are the contenders in the AFC? I can name one team right now, possibly.
And that's
And they
fair.
and they just lost to the Bills, who just dropped a game to the Dolphins. The AFC is wide open. Um, I think we saw yesterday the Chiefs, the Colts are Jonathan Taylor contingent. They are literally the Titans from 2019, 2020. If their running back has a big day, they'll win. If you shut them down, they'll lose. Pittsburgh, Buffalo, you can run all over them. You saw it yesterday, and it's looking right now like if we were to win the division, we play them. And you know what? I like us right now. Ed Oliver, the guy who basically won on the game against us, out for the year.
Is he out for the
And
year? Oh
I'm
shit.
pretty sure. The Colts right now, DeForest Buckner on IR with a neck I-word. We know how those
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
Like, and the Chiefs just lost to the Bills. Like, if there's one team I kind of don't want to play, is the Chiefs, because Spags knows how to play us. Hell, Flores knows how to play Lamar. Outside of that, their DCs don't really know how to stop this offense. And to go over the offense, though, it's more than one possession if you turn those 3 into 6s. And the red zone play calling, I think we can talk about it. It's been putrid, man. It is not good. We are overcomplicating things, it feels like. There's times where everybody in the world knows it's going to number 22, and we still go to number 22. Um,
Well, I mean, bro, realistically speaking, when we give the ball to 22, he should be getting way more yards per carry than he is in the red zone, right? The problem is the guys up front, they are not displacing these defensive tackles. They're just not. They're just not. A lot of these guys, even Tyler Linderbaum, and Tyler Linderbaum is an undersized center himself, right? He's not moving guys off of their spot, off the line of scrimmage. Falele can barely even get his hands on a guy good, right? He struggles so much deep in the red zone in these situations where, and here's another thing too. I think that this Ravens team, and here's where there's a huge indictment on John Harbaugh, on George Warhop. There were a couple times in the red zone where I felt like the Ravens offensive line could have just went head up with their man that was in front of them. Instead, they do all this shifting from back and forth and end up letting guys through, right? You know, and ends Derrick Henry ends up getting tackled in the backfield. I mean, I don't understand it for the life of me. Like, have these guys put their hand in the dirt, right? When the ball is snapped, take the man in front of you, push him, right? And let Derrick Henry kind of do the rest of the work. I just don't understand. Like, there's way too many times where Derrick Henry is getting hit in the backfield. It's unacceptable. It's the offensive line for me, bro. I mean, that's really all it boils down to. If this offensive line can kind of get themselves together, start blocking on a more consistent basis, right? Sky's the limit for a team like this. The defense is looking great, like you mentioned. Defense is looking like it's made a complete 180. I'm sure we'll get into that more in depth soon. But in the playoffs, man, you're going to need to sustain a run game. And it just comes down to the O-line. Go ahead.
Yeah. I think last year, and I want to know if anybody in the chat knows, are we bringing in the extra linemen in some of these downs? I remember last year against the Steelers in the playoffs, we brought in Josh Jones as that 6th lineman, and boy, was he moving bodies. I want to know if we're bringing in that extra guy, because we can use it. I don't care if everybody knows we're going to run it. Like, bring in the extra guy, you bring in Ricard, go heavy. You feel like you got to make some opening. I don't know if we're bringing in a 6th guy or who that 6th guy is this year, but surely that could help. But as for the passing, I mean, the Andrews touchdown was nice. The rollout, not a big fan of the rollouts, but it worked. It worked, and you do make a good point, though. I feel like with this offensive talent we have, when we get into that red zone, you got to get 6, man. And you bring up the turnovers, and to me, it got too close for comfort. They had the final drive, and like, here we go again. Here we freaking go, but they had no timeouts, and that really ended the game for them. But I'm still happy.
That was bad clock management too on our part at the end of that game.
Yeah, it was.
Like, I mean, I'm over here getting ready to go live for my instant reaction video, and I'm making the thumbnail, Ravens win and all this, and then I see the Vikings are about to get the ball back with 1:55 left, and they're only down 8. I'm like, bro, wait, hold on, wait a minute now, Yeah. So I had to kind of like, lock back in for a hot second there. But anyways, man, again, like you said, the main thing is the main thing. The red zone offense has to be better. Has to be better. Because again, when you're going up against the Bills, when you're going up against the Chiefs, or when you're just going up against a playoff team in general, hell, when you're going up against the Steelers, who we still have to see twice this year, I don't care if the Steelers have been looking like they're struggling in recent weeks. I really don't care. That team is going to play as tough as nails, just like this Cleveland Browns team that we're getting ready to go visit this upcoming Sunday is going to play as tough as nails as well. Right? Those are going to be very, very challenging matchups, and I don't necessarily see the Steelers giving the ball away 3 times. I just don't. Yeah. Steelers had a bad game last night against the Chargers, 100%. Right? But against the Ravens, this Steelers team does not make a whole lot of mistakes. honestly, that's been their kind of biggest key to victory in beating the Ravens, especially in the Lamar Jackson era. Just don't make mistakes, right? Keep the game close, keep it ugly, and by the end, and Mike Tomlin has said this before, this is how you beat the Ravens. Get them into an uncomfortable spot down the stretch, and they'll fold, right? And I think that's an indictment on Harbaugh. We'll see. But again, man, I just, when you are only getting 3 points, there's just no reason why Tyler Loop should be kicking 5 field goals. Again, he went 4 for 5. Shout out to Tyler Loop, by the way. He's been kicking his ass off, for his rookie season. Obviously missed from 56 yesterday. I still don't think that we've really asked Tyler Loop to make a big game kick, right? Like a game saving, a game tying, or a game winning kick. He hasn't been there yet, so we'll see how he holds up against that type of pressure when the time comes. But he's been good so far. But again, there's just no reason why with a Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry led offense we cannot get 6, right? But it all comes down to the O line. Comes down to the O line.
It does. And I think we will have to call on Loop here soon with these games against the Bengals possibly and the Steelers. You bring
Yeah.
the Steelers though, I think it's just beating them now in Pittsburgh. I think the monkey's all far back with them. I saw it last year in the playoffs, and then week 16, we beat their ass, but we did have self-inflicted mistakes.
Yeah.
Unfortunate the playoff game I thought we played flawless, but even the regular season game we had to pick, thankfully, Russell Wilson threw a pick 6 to Marlon Humphrey like 2 plays later. But the real indictment I think is going to Pittsburgh, and if we win there, I think we win the division. That's kind of like my bold prediction. It's somewhere we haven't won since I think 2022 when Anthony Brown came in the game.
Wait a minute. The game at, yes, I do. But the game in Pittsburgh, that's the one week 18, you said, or no?
Yes, yeah, that's the last game. Oh, that is.
That's the last one.
We low-key kind of, that game could mean nothing, hopefully. Because I don't know if you've seen the Steelers' schedule coming up.
No.
It's low-key a gauntlet. Like,
let me hear it. Let me hear it.
They have the Bengals next week.
Okay.
They have, I took a picture of it earlier today. Yeah. It goes Bengals at Chicago, home against Buffalo, at Baltimore, versus Miami, at Detroit, at Cleveland, Ravens home.
Yeah. There's definitely a couple games in there that they very well could drop. The Steelers are always tricky, though. They're always tricky. They could beat any team on any given Sunday. That's the thing.
Like the Colts.
Yeah, exactly. But then you have losses like last night where I thought that they would have taken care of business against the Chargers, right? No tackles, right, for Justin Herbert to kind of, I don't want to say hide behind, but throw behind, right? I thought that they would be getting after it, but they ended up getting after Aaron Rodgers instead. Did you see that picture that they got of Aaron Rodgers getting sacked? Crazy stuff.
Even the safety, man. What was he doing?
He didn't look good. But yeah, let's go through. So that was kind of like our contenders, our pretenders talk here. Let me go through the actual team stats from this game yesterday against the Vikings. First downs. The Ravens got 23 first downs yesterday to the Vikings 18. The Ravens went 6 for 15 on third down as opposed to 3 for 14 on the Viking side of things, which is pretty encouraging to see. The Ravens were getting off the field on third down. Again, the defense has made a complete 180, man, with Kyle Hamilton being so disruptive down low in the box. And then Malachi Starks, really quick. Let's talk about Malachi Starks really quick before I continue. I gotta say that I apologize for anything I might have said about Malachi Starks, anything negative I might have said. And I never really said anything negative like, oh, he sucks or he's trash. I never said that. I just said that it wasn't the right pick in hindsight. And I was saying these things like maybe 3-4 weeks ago before he started making plays the way he is now, right? But who knew, again, that like moving Kyle Hamilton from point A to point B, not only does that like enhance Kyle Hamilton's productivity, but it creates kind of like a ripple or a domino effect to a lot of these other guys as well. Like you even see guys like Mike Green since the change on from Kyle Hamilton. He's starting to pick things up. But sticking with Malachi Starks really quickly, obviously he had the interception last week against Miami, but this interception that he had yesterday, Alex, that one yesterday, I mean, where he just goes up over the top. I can't remember. I think it might have been Addison who it was intended for, or maybe it was Jettas. I can't quite remember at this very moment. But an acrobatic interception like that, it's not luck, right? It's not. It's confidence, is what it is. It's confidence. The fact that he was able to go up there and snatch that ball out of the sky and then return it as well. I think maybe he could have been marked down by contact at the spot because I thought he got touched after he caught it as he was falling to the ground, but that's neither here nor there. But I love what I'm seeing from Malachi Starks. He's actually finally starting to make plays, and the defense is really complementing each other right now.
And you bring up, I mean, I want to give him his flowers, but I'm gonna kind of stretch it further. Mike Green, Teddy Buchanan as well. I thought he played a good game yesterday. That's
Yeah,
three rookies right there that
yeah,
kind of looked lost in the beginning of the year, but once things are like slowed down, letting Hamilton kind of just be just running around with your hair on fire, a couple of deflected passes, just getting in the backfield, just causing
yeah,
just chaos. Um, it's good to see. I think Buchanan is really settling himself next to Roquan, and Roquan as well. I think he played good as well. Thought it was an interception. Maybe I had my purple blinders on. That
Ooh,
definitely could
like
be
we got to
punt.
talk about that too. We
That could
definitely
be
got to
punt.
talk about
Or
that.
maybe Vegas made the call. Maybe they wanted that spread to, the 4.5. Took the Vikings spread.
Mm,
But I've liked what I've seen. I see Ingraven here saying Aloha Gilman as well. Yeah, he had a beautiful, beautiful breakup, I thought, on Justin Jefferson. And Awuzie as well. I thought he played his best game with us. Thought he played a good
yeah.
game yesterday.
I thought they
Those
asked
guys,
Awuzie to do a lot yesterday. He played a ton of snaps. He was getting targeted on multiple plays, and he came up big. There were some plays where he came up a little small, but that's expected when you're getting so many targets, right?
yeah. And
Yeah,
I think you'll allow yourself for the third receiver to get those yards he got. I thought, Marlon got chipped on that big play. And by the way, I think he might miss a game or two if he gets finger surgery. I saw that. But even that, he
yeah.
he uh, he redeemed himself that pick when Justin Jefferson fell. And I'll be honest, I mean, a couple years ago that might have been a drop. That may have been a drop, that pick, but he picked it
Ooh.
off. Kind of glitched back there, but got yards, got to like 25-yard line. But I think
If he dropped that interception, he would not have had the right to get on Instagram Live after the game, win or lose. He wouldn't have had the rights. Engraven, what's going on, brother? I see you in the chat. I see Coach Evans in the chat as well. Shout out to you guys. Appreciate y'all for coming through. But Alex, let me run through the rest of these team stats here.
Of course.
So rushing yards, the Ravens finished with 152 rushing yards to the Vikings 120. Passing yards, the Ravens finished with 169 to the Vikings 245. Now in total yards, the Vikings outgained the Ravens 365 to 321 in this one. Both teams had one sack. I believe the sack on JJ McCarthy came from Travis Jones. Shout out to Travis Jones, had himself another phenomenal game. Really quick on Travis Jones. I mean, he's literally the unsung hero, the anchor on that defense, right? Without him, I think everything else does kind of fall apart, right? Because he's the only one who's going to really demand a double team on the inside like that. And what he does for stopping the run and then also getting after the passer now is just, I said it before the season even started, man. Travis Jones, he's going to be really, really good this season. And that was under the assumption that he would be right next to Nnamdi Madubuike, right? But even without Madubuike, man, Travis Jones is absolutely eating. Love what I see from Travis Jones. Extend him. Exactly. I see Sam in the chat. Extend him, right? But yeah, going through the rest of these here. So let me see. Interceptions thrown. JJ McCarthy threw those 2 picks, like we talked about, like you alluded to. The first one, the one to where Malachi was the first one, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Malachi got the first one. It was two kind of ill-advised deep shots. I don't know about you, Alex, but when I was watching the broadcast, when JJ threw those balls up there, pause, I was like, bro, this doesn't feel like it's gonna be a big completion on you. It feels like you're forcing this right now. I know we have to have a guy down there just waiting for this ball to get there, right? How did you feel about those interceptions that JJ threw?
That's a difference, I think, when you're playing a guy like him and a guy like a Mahomes or an Allen. Like, I mean, Allen has his turnovers, but if they're going deep, more than likely, his guy will be on the ball. But with McCarthy, he's overthrew it. It was big time, and the
Bad.
way Malachi played it, like a center fielder in baseball, was right there, tracked it, caught it, um, and then same with Humphrey. It felt like it was like a punt. Humphrey's just waiting for it. I'm like,
Yeah.
surely I'm gonna see the flag. Oh, I see the flag graphic pop up that it's gonna be PI, but
That's what I was thinking.
he just let. I was worried. I'm like, I can't really celebrate this because it's gonna be a flag. Never saw it, but I'll take both of them. And we weren't getting them early in the year. We weren't getting those throws that were just going up. And having guys back there, it would have been miscommunication. So I'm definitely happy that we're getting those turnovers and then like special teams as well. That fumble.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's just good field position. Good things happen when you give your offense good field position. Try it in the playoffs now. Come on.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, man. And the defense gave the offense so many good opportunities to like get touchdowns, not field goals, and that's what frustrated me the most about this game because it was the same thing in the Dolphins game, right? We were kicking way too many field goals, right? I mean, I love Tyler Loop just as much as the next Ravens fan, but I like touchdowns just a little bit more, right? So that has to be the next order of business, right? When it comes to Todd Monken and his offense, it really boils down to I think it boils down to letting Lamar Jackson drop back a little bit more. Because we've seen when Lamar Jackson drops back, I have so much confidence as a Ravens fan when Lamar Jackson lets go of the football because he rarely ever throws interceptions. It always finds the target. I don't know how sometimes, but it's like honestly, we might just need more of that, right? I mean, of course, I want to see Derrick Henry be utilized, but I just don't know about running him into this brick wall. And I want to tip my cap to the Vikings defense really quick because their defense, like you said, man, that's a good team. That's a good team. And like their defense, their linebackers, Eric Wilson and Blake Cashman, those guys were all over the place. They were all over the place in this game, man. Like they were stuffing the runs, they were fitting the gaps really, really well. Um, Love what I saw from them. But the Ravens stuck with the run. They did stick with the run. I'll give them that. And in the third quarter, I believe maybe in the early fourth quarter, there was a big drive. I think it was a 67-yard touchdown drive where the Ravens running game really got going. And that's what happens when you stick with the run. But Alex, let me go through the rest of these really quick. Only got a couple more. So let me see. The Ravens punted 5 times to the Vikings 2. Here's a big one. Penalties, right? The Ravens only had 5 penalties worth 62 yards in this one, but the Vikings had 13 penalties worth 102 yards. And most notably, it was those damn false starts, man. They had 8 false starts. That was the most since any team. The most since any team since I think I read 2011. 2011. It's crazy. I don't know what you can really chalk that up to. It almost feels like the loudness in their own stadium maybe backfired on them, right? What did you make of all the penalties in this one, man?
Yeah, and that's kind of why I was saying like it's a hard place to go. That's the sound's muffled, so I think I can't say it was 50-50 split. It ain't Miami, but I think there was a good amount of Ravens fans there. So I guess for our fans to be making that noise, or just for there to be miscommunication, I'm not too sure. But I saw an article on ESPN like the Vikings players said that we were like toying with them or playing with them. I don't know if like we were like trying to like fake jump or like fake make movements and they would jump. I know Van Noy did it against the Dolphins on that 4th and 1, I think, and they kicked the field goal their opening drive. So if it was something like that, that's just good veteran play, and that's just great coaching. I want to believe it's that because I really want to think it's good coaching. But 8 is at home, man. If that was in Baltimore, the Boo Birds would have been out. Like imagine 8 false starts at the bank. You know what I mean? You would
Yeah.
hear the boos probably after the 4th or the 5th. So you play clean and you're gonna win. I think the one penalty though, I think on Roquan, the pass interference, thought he was playing the ball. I don't know. I thought the ball was also kind of uncatchable,
It
but I think
was.
okay, cool, cool. I'm
It
glad
was
he saw it too.
uncatchable. But he definitely did like I mean, even if it wasn't pass
It was
interference, you could have called like illegal
rough.
contact
You
or
could call
or, ru-
rough or
or
something
some
cool.
unnecessary rough, something like that, right?
Yeah,
Because he pushed him before the ball even got there. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just that's just not something, a defender would do within the bounds of the rules. So, um now what I will say is kind of sticking on Roquan really quick, that interception that he got that they ended up calling back, that was dare I say, I don't think it was a pick, man. Just based off of what I know and the rules, man, like and Addison did a really good job at keeping his hand on Roquan's forearm as he went down to the ground, and that was what really prevented Roquan from really tucking that ball away because Addison had his hand on his forearm the whole time. But what happened was when Roquan made contact with the ground, the tip of the football touched the turf, and they never like to see that, right? They want to see kind of the length of the football and your forearm be parallel, like you have it tucked like kind of this way, not the other way where it's like perpendicular. If it falls down, we've seen them we've seen them kind of call that back. DWA's making it rain in the chat. Appreciate you, DWA's, for coming through. DWA says here, did you like Baby Hockey Lee? I mean, based off of that call that we're talking about right now, probably not. And here's my only thing. Here's my thing. I feel like because they called it an interception on the field, right? They ruled it a pick on the field. I feel like there wasn't enough conclusive evidence to overturn that, right? I feel like whatever you called on the field right there, you have to stick with. If they would have called it incomplete on the field, I would have said, okay, I understand it not being conclusive enough to overturn it the other way, right? But the fact that they called it a pick on the field and then reversed it and said, no, that was actually incomplete. I didn't really agree with that. I didn't really agree with that.
The celebration was funny too. I wish it counted.
Yeah.
They're running suicides in the end zone. That was fun to see. But
All
yeah,
that
that would
energy.
have definitely would have sealed the game and would have made it a little less stressful. But I think you make a good point there. The conclusive evidence was there enough? I don't think so. But thankfully, it doesn't mean anything. It just means to Roquan stats or to the defensive stats. But for us, it doesn't change the outcome of the game. Thankfully.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Also, time of possession in this game, the Ravens get another W in the time of possession category. 32 minutes and 35 seconds of possession to the Vikings 27 minutes and 25 seconds. So, again, like we said, what's the formula to winning? Win time of possession, win the turnover battle. You win both of those, you're pretty much guaranteed to win the game. It's just as simple as that. So overall, I wouldn't say a great win, but a good win over the Minnesota Vikings. Again, we should have put up 40 in that game, right? It should have been a 40-point victory. It should have been a massive blowout, way more than it shouldn't even have come down to that last minute and 55 seconds where the Vikings had one last chance. Shouldn't have even came down to that, truthfully. But a couple more things, couple more tidbits from this game. There were a couple of drops in this game, Alex. There was some early by Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, even Bateman had one. What did you make of all that?
It was worrying because we've seen these drops in big games before.
Yeah.
Especially in the playoffs.
Right.
And for Bateman's, what really makes me upset, and kind of to lead our way into our other topic, he makes that catch in the end zone. That next play doesn't happen. That hip drop tackle doesn't happen.
Facts, yeah.
He does not get hurt. So that's worrying. Now, on the other side, though, speaking of tight ends, I'm loving the way Charlie Collar's been playing. Like, he's kind of been the guy who you can trust right now, tight end wise, with the hands. I think likely he needs to get a couple more targets, but those drops, man, they definitely owe us now. But yeah, we can't be having them. A tale as old as time.
Our guy Jason from Huddled Up Films is in the chat. What's going on, Jason? Jason says Likely was the most surprising drop for sure. For sure. I think I saw somebody tweet on Twitter. They were like, when Mark Andrews dropped that ball, he was screaming at the TV like, oh, Isaiah Likely would never drop that. And on the very next play, Isaiah Likely drops the ball. It's like, bro, how does this happen? The one with Rashod Bateman, that one was, I don't want to say concerning. Lamar threw it a little bit behind Bateman, even though Bateman still got both hands on the football. He should have brought that one in, but I understand why he didn't. But then the play after that, you could tell Bateman wanted to, he put a little bit of extra effort into that next play, right, to try to get into the end zone. Ends up falling just short, hip drop tackle, which they never call. It's like, it's not even a real thing in the NFL, right, unless they feel like it to be a real thing. But yeah, and another thing too, and we'll talk about the injuries. I know we're kind of jumping around all over the place here, guys, but that's what happens on some of our review episodes. So appreciate y'all for coming through. Appreciate y'all for rocking out with us, man. We're just kind of getting it all out. Another thing, the what was that one controversial call? Oh, the Lamar roughing call.
Oh,
what did you think about that one?
I don't like it, but you see it. You can't drive the quarterback into the ground. It could be Lamar Jackson. It could be
Davis Mills.
Yeah, like there's certain roughing that only like your Mahomes and Allens will get because Allen sits there and throws his neck back and like gives himself freaking whiplash. Which, by the way, I think I have to make a whole compilation of those flops because it's not like a Raven Bills fans thing. It's getting just out of control. It's every week. This guy just throws his head back and like tries to get a flag. They gotta do something about that. But the higher end quarterbacks like the Brady's they would get those ticky tacky rough in the passer calls. If you have to any quarterback the drive at the ground, it's going to be a flag. I don't like it. But now that's the rule, and the rule is the rule, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I when I saw it in real time, I was like, okay, that is the NFL protecting their product, right? Like, I mean, but it's against the rules though. Like pound for pound, it's against the rules. Like you cannot drive your body weight into the quarterback. Like it's just not right. Like, and I understand that. I totally understand that. Now, some of these ones where a guy will just get kind of slapped in the helmet or something like that, and they throw the flag. I'm like, okay, that's soft, right? That's super soft, but you know, the NFL at the end of the day, the NFL has to protect its greatest asset, which is their quarterbacks, right? Because those are the stars in this league. The NFL is not necessarily a star-driven league; it's a team-driven league. However, the stars drive the teams, right? And at the end of the day, you want a guy like Lamar Jackson available and playing football because that brings in more dollars and brings in more eyes and attention to the sport. So of course they're going to protect those guys in that regard. And that was not a soft call either. It just wasn't, right? So, but it was interesting. It was interesting to see how some fans from other fan bases reacted to that because they're like, "Oh, it's so ticky tack. Lamar gets all these calls," which is ironic because like Lamar never gets calls, right? He never gets calls. It's always Allen and Mahomes, like you said, Alex, who were always getting the majority of the calls, right? The roughing calls. But it was good to see. I think that was a drive saving penalty. I believe it was. So it was very well timed. I said this yesterday, Alex, and I don't know if you agree. Let me know, but I think that the Ravens, above anything, the thing that I like the most about yesterday's win was the fact that they played a very timely game, right? Like whenever they needed something to happen, it happened pretty much like right after that. Like there was a point in the game where I believe it was I want to say the second quarter, like early second quarter, mid second quarter, something like that, where the Ravens offense really wasn't getting anything going, right? And the defense was just kind of, doing the whole bend not break thing, right? And I was thinking to myself, like, we could really go for a turnover right now to really swing momentum back to the Ravens side. And lo and behold, right after that, Malachi Starks picks the ball off, right? There was another time where the Ravens offense was kind of stalling a little bit. I was thinking, another turnover would really hit different right now. And what happens? Marlon Humphrey comes up with another turnover. And it just seemed like we kind of ran away with the game because of the turnovers. I will say that. But again, man, timely turnovers, timely takeaways. That's important in this league, right? Because momentum is everything. Like we saw in the Bills playoff game last season, how the Ravens had a lot of momentum in that fourth quarter, right? The Bills fans were kind of getting out of it. The crowd was out of it. They were like, oh, this Ravens team, they're running the ball. They're getting whatever they wanted on us. And right on time, Terrell Bernard punches it out from Mark Andrews, and they're right back on top, So it was encouraging to see, again, the defense start to force takeaways like that. And then also not really giving up too many big plays, right? I mean, JJ McCarthy, you could tell he wanted to push the ball down the field, especially later on in the game. But the Ravens were really bottling that up on the most part. I think the Ravens had, I think 13 or 14 PBUs in this game. It was something crazy,
It was like
right?
12 or 13, I want to say.
It was something crazy. Yeah. I mean, like, I love what I saw from the defense again. It's just the offense has to start playing more complementary football, but a very timely game again from this Ravens defense.
Yeah, I think Jefferson had like 12 targets, I want to say.
Yeah.
Catches. So I mean, they were testing whoever was on them, and whether it be bad throws or just tight coverage, you can't really play a receiver of that caliber much better. He's gonna get his obviously, but outside of that, didn't have the big catches on a third or fourth down. I think they shut on the fourth down. They shut him down. I think Wiggins was on him a couple of times. Obviously Woozier and then Aloha Gilman with that. It was great to see. I think people went in. I think Rex Ryan on ESPN said like he would have like 100 plus yards. That didn't happen. Shutting up some doubters. That definitely was good for them for the defense, and they definitely needed that. Bring a little more swagger coming into these next couple of games. Browns and then Jets. I'm not too sure. I think Garrett Wilson's going to be out for the Ravens Jets game. I think he's out 3 to 4 weeks. So the real next big test, not to look ahead. Obviously, the Bengals on Thanksgiving. Higgins,
Yeah.
Jamar, Yoshivas, but gotta beat who's in front of you. But definitely good.
Possibly Burrow.
Secondary. I don't want to get too much into that. I have my feelings in that. I think he rushed himself back. I do, low key.
Okay, I'm about to say Joe Burrow just started practicing again today, for the first time since that turf toe I word. So, we'll see. It's rumored that he's supposed to be back around Thanksgiving time, not exactly on Thanksgiving per se, but Thanksgiving-ish, according to NFL insider Jay Glazer. So, Let me get into some other things from this game. So Dre Jones, newest Raven Dre Jones, made his Ravens debut. And this one, he had 4 quarterback pressures, 12.1% pressure rate, and that's according to Next Gen Stats. He made the most of his Ravens debut, man. And as we saw earlier last week, John Harbaugh talking about how he's going to be playing inside, maybe some outside as well. He's a versatile rusher, and that's exactly what we saw. We saw some physicality from him. We saw some dog from Dre Jones in this one, and hopefully he can start to put things together and really build upon yesterday's performance. And because right now, I am still concerned about this defensive line, man. I'm concerned about it. I feel like if the Vikings would have continued to run the ball on us yesterday, that game could have been a lot closer and a lot scarier for Ravens fans, right? But they kind of got away from that. They kind of put the ball in JJ McCarthy's hands and let him throw it 40 times. I don't really know necessarily why, but neither here nor there. But Dre Jones had himself a good game. What did you make of his performance?
Yeah, obviously the sacks weren't showing up, but he was getting in the backfield. I think he had a nasty move in one of the tackles. Uh, it's evident to see why we traded for him.
Yeah.
To throw him in there, but we needed that. We needed somebody to get there, just cause pressures. And this team isn't going to be a sack team. It's not 2023 where we're going to be the Triple Crown. But if he can help us, get a couple more, I'm happy with that. And I was a little, scratching my head maybe why wasn't Carl Lawson playing, but I guess
Yeah.
there's only so many snaps around. But there comes a point where I think you're going to have to call up Carl Lawson now pretty soon.
Yeah.
Some guys aren't really making the most of their opportunities, but I thought Dre Jones on his debut, I think he made the most.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Dre Jones. Hopefully we can, again, see him continue to put things together this season. We do have another super chat donation. Max Offit in the chat making it rain. Appreciate you, Max. Max says this will be the upset bowl year because that's what the Ravens do. Man, it's a crazy narrative this year, isn't it, Alex? Compared to other years.
There's no far and ahead best team, I think, in the AFC. There just really isn't. You can make an argument for why each team isn't going to win it or is going to win it, which kind of sets up good with the Ravens because we're good when nobody picks us to win. We weren't picked to win in 2012. The same Broncos team blew us out 34-17 weeks prior, and we go in there and beat them. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. It would be a hell of a year if of any year to win the Super Bowl. This would be a crazy one. But again, in order to do that, we talked about it at the top of the show, man. Are you contenders or are you pretenders, right? And if you go into the postseason with an offensive line that is as inconsistent as it's proven to be, then hey, man, you're gonna find yourself in a dogfight on the road, most likely with a Bills team or a Chiefs team, right? Because they're just inevitable in the AFC. You got to go through one of them at least to get to the bowl. It's not going to be as easy as against JJ McCarthy and the Vikings, right? And my only thing is like, I don't know if these last couple of wins, obviously the Bears wins, the Dolphins win, and the Vikings win. I don't know how quality these wins are, Alex, truly. I mean, because all of the wins we've gotten have been like wins where it's like, okay, against a much better team, which they do exist, the Ravens might have dropped that one, right? So is it a little bit of fool's gold right now? Because we got the Browns and Jets coming up. I don't even know how to feel about this Ravens team right now, but I do feel like they're closer to pretenders, like I said before.
I promise I'm not trying to make a joke. I promise. I saw a stat that the Bears have won 6 out of their last 7, and the one loss was to the Ravens and Tyler Huntley. That win's looking better and better. I know they were banged up, but you got to beat who's in front of you, and they've had some good wins too, the Bears. I know they came back against a Giants team that isn't the best, but you got to beat who's in front of you. And when you look at that, you're like, oh, well, who's the one thing they lost to? The Ravens and their backups. And why is that, man? The defense was playing pretty damn good against Caleb Williams. So moving on, I mean, the Bengals, I think, is like the next big game, but it's shaping up, man. There's a lot of games I see that end of the season, like that Patriots game. To me, they're playing really good right now. And I know I don't want to be a delusional purple Ravens fan, but we did that to the Niners on Christmas Day a couple years ago. The Niners were flying high, and we kind of humbled them. And we play good against the really good teams. I can see them coming into here, and we can beat them. But just got to get their confidence. And this is a Ravens team gaining confidence. It's just the offense, and the line is unfortunately the biggest question mark we've been talking about.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Getting through a couple more pieces of news here. Let me see. John Harbaugh spoke today at a presser. He talked about Jay Higgins, who sustained a knee I word yesterday. He's going to miss some time. Harbaugh said that it's not a season ender, but it's going to be a couple of weeks. So he'll probably go on IR. I expect him maybe to be out maybe a month or so. So rest up, Higgins, and hopefully he can come back even stronger, man. Rashod Bateman, like you mentioned earlier, he got hurt in this one too. It's a high ankle sprain, I think they said it was. And, those can be some weeks. Those can be maybe 2-3 weeks, right? So I expect him to miss the Browns game. I expect him to miss the Jets game. They said he was in a boot after the game. Never a good sign. So maybe he'll be back. Wait, who's after the Jets again?
Garrett Wilson.
After the no, I'm saying who's
after
after
him?
the Jets game?
The
Yeah,
Bengals. The Bengals. So
okay,
that's
gotcha,
probably
gotcha.
a
Yeah.
realistic return.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Thanksgiving Day against the Bengals. I could see that. But that is all the. I mean, obviously, then also there's Marlon Humphrey, like you mentioned, with the finger. I think he'll end up being okay. I'm pretty sure he'll play. I don't think that he'll let a finger keep him off the field. But again, something you got to monitor. Um, Let me see. So here was a quote from JJ McCarthy actually after the game, and he was asked about the Ravens defense and really what kind of like stopped them from doing well on offense for the Vikings. Let me see. The JJ McCarthy said the amount of tip balls that happened today at the line of scrimmage, those are just absolutely killer, and it's a credit to them up front. They played a tremendous game. They had a tremendous game plan. Threw the kitchen sink at us in terms of coverage, pressures, and new looks. And end quote, by the way. This is what was a part of my keys to victory for this game. You know what I'm saying? You have a young signal caller here at quarterback who, if you throw some different looks at him, he's going to make some mistakes, right? And I think that he's kind of like JJ McCarthy. We talked about it last week, Alex. The moxie that he has with the 9 nickname and all that, and it's kind of like that frat boy energy. I knew that the Ravens were going to be able to take advantage of that, right? It's so easy. It's like a young fighter who just isn't going to hold anything back. He's going to relentlessly try to go down the field, relentlessly try to find Jefferson, even if it doesn't make sense. Again, you saw that multiple times yesterday. A couple of them ended up getting picked off, right? You could just see the mistakes just kind of like ready to just ooze out of him on Sunday, right? He's got to mature a little bit. I mean, I like what I saw from him early on in the game. Like you mentioned, that shot that he hit to, I think it was a Naylor, right? Where Marlon Humphrey gets picked on the play, like you mentioned. That was a perfect throw. He dropped that one right in the bucket. There was the one where Kyle Hamilton comes right up the middle at JJ McCarthy, and right before he gets hit, he delivers a throw that ends up going for a first down. So, I mean, there's some promising stuff that you see from him, man. He's just got to be a little bit more poised in the pocket, man. He's got to be a little bit more. He's got to settle down a little bit as a pro level quarterback, but I think he'll be fine. His off target throw percentage by quarter today, 0% of his throws in the first quarter were off target. 20% of his throws in the second quarter were off target. 18.2% of his throws in the third quarter were off target. And then in the fourth quarter, 40% of JJ McCarthy's throws were off target. And that's another thing that we mentioned in the preview, right? I mean, these some of his throws are off, right? Like, he's not the most accurate quarterback. And of course, you can only expect so much from a rookie, but that was going to be somewhere where I felt like the Ravens could capitalize, and they absolutely did with 2 interceptions.
Yeah, and that throw he made to Naylor was kind of similar to what he made last week against the Lions to knock them off. It was a great throw in the
Yeah.
bucket. Only he's going to catch it. Sucks that Marlon got rubbed there, but I think we made him look like a quarterback who's only had 4 or 5 career starts. I think that's what you can do, and that's what was expected, and they did that. And I think the picks were like the cherry on top. As for the whole 9 thing, I'm right there with you. Like, fake demon. We've played Mahomes, we've played Allen, we've played the greats. Yeah, you're not rattling us with that. And I think, like, once again, his lack of experience showed. I think with the last drive, he ran, and they just waste a lot of time. Guys getting the line very slow and kind of rolling around. Even if I think they converted that 4th down, if Aaron Jones catches that, I don't think they have enough time to get to the line and spike the ball. I think it's like 9 seconds. They have guys all the way in the end zone, got to run back, spike it. They might have 1 second, but stuff like that definitely has to learn on. But I think the Vikings do have a good quarterback, so build around him, and hopefully they can do what they want to do the next couple of years.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, I went on a Vikings podcast before the game, and they are fully optimistic about their quarterback, number 9, JJ McCarthy. So again, it'll be another 4 years. I don't know if he'll make it the 4 years to play the Ravens again and maybe get his get back, but we'll see. We'll see. But overall, guys, again, a good win, not a great win for this Ravens team. They're still kind of sort of putting things together. The good news is this. You have a couple of games coming up on the schedule. And again, we don't want to look too far ahead. But and of course, this Browns team, they're going to play us tough. I'm sure the Jets, they get paid too. They're professionals as well. They got a win yesterday too. The Jets beat the Browns yesterday, I believe, right?
Yes, they did 27-20.
Right. And Dylan Gabriel looked like ass again. Another story for another day. But you have some opportunities coming up in these next couple of weeks to really start to finally put things together offensively. If you don't go out against the Browns and put up 30, 35 plus, and this offensive line is still looking like, especially in the red zone, they're still looking incompetent. That's an issue, bro. That's an issue. There's a lot of really good front sevens that are going to be playing in this playoffs. Again, Chiefs, Bills. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. So Ravens just got to continue to put it together. Ravens are still relatively healthy. Only a couple of guys got scathed in that game yesterday against the Vikings, but I think they'll be okay. Alex, you got anything else for me?
I mean, just talking about the Bateman, that one hurts. But it's be Zay, D-Hop, Tez, Tylen, LeJohntay. Seeing Tez active will make my heart happy, make it warm, but hate the way it has to happen. Hate somebody like Bateman had to go down, but guys like this will step up, and I think Tez has stepped up when the ball's thrown his way. He's done nothing but produce, catching it, no drops. So not going to compare the two, but
real quick, what did you think about Zay Flowers in this one? What do you think about Zay Flowers? Zay Flowers had a very Zay Flowers like performance in this one. What do you have? Like 4 catches, 75 yards?
North. He was going north with a couple of them. It was nice to see. Had to step back on one of them, but he already got about, I think, 10 yards of yak, so I was pretty happy. I mean, that's yak-wise, that's what I want to see from him. Was getting open, shifty. I was like, it's a typical Zay Flowers game.
I don't know about your boy Zay, man. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie, Alex. Sometimes I watch Zay Flowers play football and I get frustrated. I do. There's just like, because the Ravens seem to like and favor, fancy this type of wide receiver. We saw the same thing with Hollywood. I mean, obviously an undersized guy who can get yards after the catch because he's so fast, right? But for some reason, and like you mentioned, he went straight on a couple plays, but there were also a couple plays where he could have used that speed to beat a guy around the edge. But for some reason, it's just like ingrained in his mind to cut back constantly. And I said this yesterday on the instant reaction stream. It's almost like if you're a defender in the open field and you're trying to tackle Zay Flowers, all you have to do is stick your arm out, right? And that will deter him from continuing to go that direction. It's like he doesn't want to run through an arm tackle. It's like he's afraid of arm tackles. Run through those, right? Like a prime Tyreek Hill would run through an arm tackle like that and still accelerate through it. I just don't understand the constant starting and stopping, going east and west and whatnot. All it leads to is literally the defense being able to rally on you quicker, and the defense being able to create better angles to punch the football out, which we've seen before. We've seen that happen before. Zay Flowers actually dropped, I believe it was a sweep, a jet sweep that he dropped. They credit it to Lamar, but I don't know, man. The common denominator, because the same thing happened with Cooper Rush. I put those on Zay Flowers. I do, me personally. But go ahead. What do you got about Zay?
I'm not a big fan of the sweeps with Zay. I feel like I'm not trying to throw this guy in there, but I feel like scare him with LeJohntay. Just throw him in there once, just see what happens. I'm not trying to make this a Devin Duvernay 2.0 because that's not what this is. I just don't like our number one receiver getting put on those sweeps, because you can blow him up in the backfield and then it will be really bad. You know what I mean? Like I'm not feeling that, but I had really no problems with him receiving wise yesterday.
I just need to see. I just, bro,
first downs.
I need to see some more game breaking plays. Like, is Zay Flowers a top 20 wide receiver right now today? If you even have to think about it that long, that should
I
tell you
can't.
that like we need to
He
see
was playing
more
with
from
Cooper
him.
Rush a couple of games. I can't.
I mean, this is
I
his
can't.
third season though, Alex. I mean, it's just at some point you would want to see big game breaking ability from him, right? Like we only get maybe 1 or 2 Zay Flowers plays per year where it's like, oh my gosh, like he's a certified bona fide number one. We get it. He's the joystick, right? I mean, he can catch the ball and he separates really well. He can catch the ball. He can make a guy miss and, dance around a little bit and things like that. But like, bro, I need to see more dominance from Zay Flowers. I do.
I can get behind
I
that.
I've
I can
never
get
seen
behind
Zay
that.
Flowers. I've never seen Zay Flowers change a game. Is that fair
Now,
to say?
are you saying this because we see what JSN's doing, and they're in the same draft class?
I mean, sure, we can go there, but I'm just comparing him to the top flight wide receivers in the league in general, right? You even see guys like Emeka Ibuka, right, rookie, making plays out there. You see guys like, and I'll toss it to a guy like AJ Brown. I know these are different archetypes of receivers, but the common denominator between those guys is that they all make big game changing plays, right? Zay Flowers, any typical day, he's gonna have 4 or 5 catches for 60 to 70 yards. But and again, a lot of those big plays get us down the field, sure. But I need to start seeing some touchdowns. I need to start seeing maybe some more deep routes from him. Something. We have to figure out a way to get Zay Flowers in the end zone, get his confidence up, man. It's just
I
I don't
think
know,
yeah.
man.
The only gripe I can agree that I want to see him in the touchdown, get more touchdowns, but he's on pace right now for 1,000 yards, back-to-back 1,000-yard years.
Mm.
So
Uh,
I mean, I'm not mad at that.
you want to read Kwame's comment here?
Oh, yep. He says, Sutton, he was a Pro Bowler. We gotta drop those damn screens. They get tipped or stopped every time. Are you forgetting about the Broncos game last year when he
And
put
see,
it in
that's
the
my
middle and
problem,
just ran past
Kwame.
everybody?
Kwame, that's my problem. That was the last big time Zay Flowers play we saw. No, that's the thing. Like, when have you seen? That was probably the best play of Zay Flowers' career. We haven't seen anything resembling that since. You know what I mean? He has 1 touchdown on the year. By the way, appreciate the super chat donation, Kwame, making it rain here on this episode 350 of PRP. But you get my point. Like I just feel like we don't get enough out of Zay Flowers, right? I love, he'll catch the ball over the middle, or he'll catch the ball, in the flat, or we might hit him on the wide receiver screen or something like that. He might make something happen. Go ahead, get 10 yards for the first. Cool. I'm great. I'm good with all of that. But I just need to see him make some more impactful plays, especially when it matters most, right? It started in the AFC Championship game, 2023. He catches that deep ball from Lamar Jackson when the Ravens are trying to come back, and he ends up cutting back again when I thought that he had the straight line speed to get around the corner and get that touchdown. Ends up getting the taunting call right after that, and then, of course, the fumble right after that. And ever since then, I haven't really seen, like, back then, I really believed, like, okay, Zay Flowers is our next bona fide one, right? But since then, it doesn't really feel like he's a bona fide one. It just, I don't know if it's the scheme. I don't know if it's just I don't know what it is, Alex, because he gets the most targets.
Is it the build?
I think it's the build for me. I think it's the build, man. Because the build doesn't allow him, and he even said it over the offseason on that little the viral clip where he was like, I'm gonna stop cutting. I'm gonna go straight this year. I'm gonna run straight. But he was explaining why he cuts so much, because the guys out there are so much bigger than him, right? And like that, like, I don't want to say fear, because I'm sure the only person that Zay Flowers fears is God, right? And rightfully so. But my thing is, like, you got to be a little bit more tenacious, right? Be willing, seek out that contact sometimes, right? I think Zay Flowers kind of sells himself short there. Kwame says, Bills game this year, how many yards did he have? Thank you again for the another super chat donation, brother. Appreciate that. How many yards did he have in that Bills game? I can't remember.
7 catches, 143 yards, and a touchdown.
That was a big game. But again, I mean, that was his last touchdown, and we're going into week 11. You know what I mean? There were what, 2 games without Lamar? 3 games without Lamar, I want to say. I just need to see more, man.
Our receivers haven't been getting getting a lot of touchdowns. Tez has what? 2. Talon has 1. Bate has what, 2 or 3. And it's also, sucks that we didn't have our quarterback for a couple of games. So we weren't really throwing. We couldn't score touchdowns. A couple of games. Texans game, we got a garbage one. and then we didn't score one against. Or did we score one against the Rams? No, we didn't. 17-3. I see people bringing up Bates' contract. I mean, I'm one of Bates' biggest fans. Yeah, it, I don't know what's going on. Like 1-2 catches a game is not, and I think Dre brought up the line as well. We can talk about that's not helping.
Yeah. The line is definitely, that's like kind of like the real problem with this Ravens team right now. You know, the offensive line, if they can't pick things up, then it's going to be shaky down the stretch of this one. But again, man, just to put a bow on the Zay Flowers conversation, I love Zay Flowers. Right, I bet on him constantly in our Purple Rain parlay segment. I always bet him to get the over on his receptions and things like that. I just need to see more to really consider him like a number one wide receiver. Because right now, he's like a really good 2 in my eyes. In my eyes, personally. I think that Zay Flowers is a really good 2. I saw a coach in the chat say that he cannot seek out contact because he's 170 pounds and 5'8". I think that's a little bit of an exaggeration by coach there. I don't think that Zay Flowers is 5'8". I think he's probably like 5'10".
5'9", 183.
Yeah.
That was
$5.9.
last time he got. I just pulled up his
That's like right around. That's like a little bit. That's honestly like right around like my build, to be honest with you. And I can only imagine me being out there trying to run through arm tackles and whatnot and try to get around these huge DBs. But come on, Zay. I need to see. I just need to see a little bit more, man. Use that speed, run by guys. If you don't have the frame to really run through these arm tackles, use your straight line speed to get around these guys. Beat these guys around the edge. Again, talk to Keaton Mitchell. Get with Keaton Mitchell and say, hey, look, how do you run straight? You know, because Keaton Mitchell has no problem doing that. And we haven't even talked about Keaton in this one, but he had a couple big runs in this one too. Averaged like 7-8 yards a carry. That was beautiful to see. And John Harbaugh said again today, like, yeah, we got to get Keaton Mitchell more involved. We're going to get Keaton Mitchell more involved. It's just hard to take food off of Derrick Henry's plate, which I totally get. Understandable, right? But, I mean, that kid, whenever he touches the ball, Keaton Mitchell, is good things happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think he knows, like, his touch, he has to make the most of them. And unfortunately, with players like that, they can turn the ball over because they try to do too much, try to play hero ball. But with him, finds the hole and just run. Just freaking run like the Road Runner, his little nickname, just off to the races. And he burned a couple of guys yesterday, and just the safeties did their job and caught him. I thought the one he was going to break for a touchdown got past the first level, and then he was just all gone. And I thought, oh, there's a Seahawks Keaton touchdown, but they caught him. But it was good to see. I mean, I think he's earned himself more snaps, and he was a good change of pace back. I think Henry drove down on the one touchdown drive for the Andrews touchdown drive, and I'm like putting Keaton, and they put in Keaton, as a change of pace back, and a couple of yards here and stuff like that. Like, just keep the drive going. I like that a lot. I think we used them right yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully we can see more carries for him coming in the future. One last thing I wanted to bring up. It's like this game felt a little bit. I felt a little bit troubled. I was very uncomfortable in like the second quarter of this game. Again, when the Ravens offense was kind of stalling out, and it seemed like at any moment the Vikings could potentially start to pour it on. But in one particular moment where I felt the most uncomfortable was on a 3rd and long in the second quarter. We saw that cover 0 look that plagued this Ravens team back in 2021 or 2022. And it worked again. They rushed Lamar, and I think we saw that cover 0 look maybe 3 or 4 times yesterday. Not nearly as much as in that Dolphins game on Thursday Night Football all those years ago, but we saw it pop up again, and it kind of worried me for not necessarily even that game specifically, but the future, because I feel like defensive coordinators who have the Ravens coming up on their schedule, they're going to look at those couple of plays where the cover 0 was thrown at the Ravens, and they're going to say, okay, they're obviously a little bit better at kind of beating that coverage than they were a couple of years ago, but they still haven't got it totally figured out. And so I think that could be an issue going forward. Just wanted to kind of put that out there. I don't want to put any bad juju out there for this Ravens team, but I could totally see defenses throwing that cover 0 look at the Ravens in the future, and the Ravens kind of struggling with it. Did you see that though?
I I thought we were doing everything right. There was a couple of times where there was out routes, and I think Lamar hit them, and there was one that the linebacker got up and blocked. But I thought we did a pretty good job, and I kind of go ahead, bring cover zero. I think Azay would excel on that, and even Tez Walker, I think, with his length to catch a ball and run upfield, he has that speed. So I'm not really too worried about that. I think we've figured that out.
Yeah.
Knock on wood.
Hopefully, right? I mean, and Lamar was getting the ball out super duper quick, like
Yeah.
super quick yesterday. I believe it was like a 2.3 seconds or something like that was his time to throw, which was his fastest time to throw since 2021 when they played the Miami Dolphins and Brian Flores was throwing all those cover zero looks. I mean, I think that the key, right? And you saw Lamar Jackson. I mean, he had a good game yesterday, didn't have a great game though. And I think that
Yeah.
the key to slowing him down is speeding up his quarterback clock as much as you possibly can. Because the more you let Lamar Jackson hang out in the pocket, the more likely he is to make something happen, right? So I think that the game plan going forward for a lot of defenses is going to be to kind of speed up Lamar Jackson mentally and make him make a throw, make him get the ball out of his hands as quick as possible. So, but the Ravens still have their work cut out for them. They still have their work cut out for them. They got the Browns this week, the Jets next week, and the you said who's after that? The Bengals, right, on Thanksgiving Day. So we got some pretty favorable matchups coming up. Some opportunities to kind of get some things all the way right, like we mentioned, the offensive line, punching it in the red zone, and continuing to do what we do on defense. And hopefully we can start seeing some more sacks soon. I think Nnamdi Madubuike still leads the team in sacks, if I'm not mistaken, to this day, with 2. So still troubling there, but overall a good win, not a great win. We'll continue to cover it again. I think we're going to go ahead and leave it there for this episode 350 of PRP. We'll be back on Thursday. Alex and I will doing our preview episode of the upcoming Browns game. So if you did enjoy the content that you consumed tonight or morning, whenever you might be listening, make sure you leave a like on the video and also subscribe to the channel as well, because we got a whole lot more. Listen, a whole lot more Ravens content where this came from. So make sure you stay locked in with the Purple Rain podcast. Again, my name is Sutton Def. You can find me on Twitter or Instagram at Sutton Def. You can find this guy over here, my co-host Alex, Simply AS10 on Twitter, simplyas10.prod on Instagram. And with that being said, I'm gonna let my guy Alex take us out.
Thank you very much for coming through this lovely episode 350 of the Purple Rain podcast. We love you. We appreciate you. And as freaking always, man, stay positive and test negative.
Yes. And never, ever, ever forget, even on the rainiest of days, to call God. This is episode 350 of PRP. We're going to catch you guys in the next one. Peace.